Okay, so let's now break down this bass line. There should be a document for you to download so you can see the notation and also the tablature so you can kind of follow along with what I'm doing. I recommend that you have this in front of you when we're analyzing this because I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm not going to really tell you where every fret is I'm playing and every note because it's all kind of here in the transcription, and I just want to keep this video really concise so you can basically understand the point of it and then kind of use it in any way that you feel like you need to. So basically when I transcribe something I love, I'm not just transcribing it so I can steal the licks. I'm transcribing it because it kind of moved me in a certain way. So I want to understand the intention behind the notes in relation to the chords so I can kind of start creating my own lines and kind of use it as inspiration rather than just stealing and copying licks. The other thing that's important to do is understand the rhythms, especially with a bass line like this. There are a lot of 8th notes, 16th notes, rests, ghost notes. So it's really important to kind of have a hold on that. And then next is obviously the dynamic of how the bass line is played. Is it played behind the beat? Is it on top of the beat? How are the dynamics? Is it played really hard, really soft? Does it have arcs and dips? You know, so it's really important to kind of hear the whole thing and not just kind of plow through it so you can kind of play along with it. It's all about intention and what's the meaning behind the line. Okay, so this A section is basically a 6-bar phrase that repeats 4 times. Okay, and let's look at the rhythms first. So it starts out with 8 notes, and then in beat 4 there's a 16th note rest followed by an 8th note ending on a 16th note. And the way I would count 8th notes is basically 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, 16th notes I would count 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. So bar 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E and. Bar 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E and. Bar 3 starts off with 2 16th notes followed by an 8th note. So I will count that 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. Bar 4 is basically a 16th note rest followed by a dotted 8th note. And when there's a dot after a note value, it's basically adding half the value again. So a dot after an 8th note would give it the value of 3 16th notes. And there are a lot of courses in the Tony Gray Bass Academy on-site reading where we kind of go into a lot of detail and how to read and all that good stuff. But here I'm just kind of going through it quickly. Bar 4 is all rests apart from the and of 4. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Bar 5, it's that 2 16th note, 8th note pattern. So that would be 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. Bar 6, we have a half note rest followed by 4 8th notes. So it's 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, so let's now look at the notes. So bar 1 is over a C major, and we're basically just using roots and fifths. It starts with a root followed by the fifth. And again, you can look at the transcription here to find out where those notes are played. So it's just a slap and a pop, then a ghost note, which is basically a pitchless note, if you like. You just basically can mute it with the right hand and either pop or slap down. So bar 2. So we end there on a pop and slap ghost note. So I'm just basically playing roots and just roots in this bar. So it's just B and then F7, just F, the octave there. Then bar 3 is an E minor. Okay, very common there. I'm just using chord tones, the flat 7th to the root, hammer on. Very common on a slap and pop. We have that approach to the root, then the flattened third. Okay, bar 4 is just that flattened 7th, which is basically setting up bar 5, which which is very similar to bar 3, but instead of the 2 flattened thirds, we're going approaching that flattened third. Then bar 6 is just a D to a D flat with the octave. And it's basically all about where you're going. It's not really, we're not really analysing that D and D flat as anything other than an approach to the C, because that's where it's going. And then that would repeat until the second ending, which is just basically a quarter note followed by an eighth note rest, then a lot of ghost notes. So it's just basically 1 and 2E and 3E and 4E and the harmony behind this is, again, it's all about the C major. So we're just going 5 6, then 1 2. Very common line over C major. So that repeats again to the third ending, which is the same as the first ending. So after the third ending, we're just going to basically continue on with the form. There's no need to repeat anything here. We're just going to continue on all the way to the B section. So that's basically starting, the first measure is the same. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E and and then the next measure is just 4/8 notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and it just ties over until the B section starts. So now let's look at the B section, which is basically, once it gets going, is a 4-bar cycle that just repeats. So the first time it starts, it's anticipated on the and of 4. So it's, you're holding out that F, 2 3 4 1 2 3 and 4 and what this is a series of double stops, and a double stop is 2 notes played together, and in this case it's just a series of roots and thirds. So over an E major we have the root, and then the third up an octave, up a fret. So it's the E string, 12th fret for that E, and then the G sharp would be on the 13th fret on the G string. So it starts 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and then you pluck that D on the and of 4. So the second half of the B section gets a bit more rhythmical. So now let's look at bar 3. So we have an E7 chord, and what's happening here is it starts with an 8th note followed by the root, then a 16th note, 8th note, 16th note. So you could count beat 2 out, 1 E and then beat 3, 3 E and then beat 4. There's a double stop, 2 double stops after an 8th note, so it's 2 16th notes, 4 E and And harmonically, what's going on here is we have a root 6, which is just basically approaching this flattened 7th. Kind of a nice line there going to the root. Then we have these double stops, which is basically just a chromatic approach to the flattened 7th and the 3rd. So it's that 12th fret D string for that flat 7, and then that 3rd on the 13th fret of the G string. And again, in bass playing, it's all about where you're going, not necessarily where you are. So it's, these notes don't make sense, but these ones do. Okay, so bar 4, I'll play it for you first. It's a little bit tricky. Again. It's got a 16th note triplet at the end there. So rhythmically, it starts with a 16th note rest, followed by an 8th note and 16th note. Beats 2 and 3, all 16th notes. And then the 4th beat is a 16th note triplet, followed by an 8th note. And I will count this bar 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and triple it. So I just basically either say triple it, or just 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and there's the 8th note. So harmonically, again over an E7, I'm kind of thinking it's coming from a pentatonic riff here. So we have the root, and then the 5-6-1. Got that kind of vibe. So again, it's just pentatonic. So we have 2, 3, 5, 6. And this line could be played all slap with some hammer-ons, or it could be played some of it popped. So it's just basically up to you how you play that. So now you understand the rhythms, you understand the dynamic of it. It's all kind of on the beat. You understand harmonically what's going on. So there's a drum groove for you to download. Just have some fun with it. You know, once you've worked out how to play it and you can really get it, the intention behind it, then kind of create your own lines based off some of these rhythms and some of these ideas. I hope you got something out of this lesson, and we'll see you in the next one.